There was no response. They didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad. Very sad.
After his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
Not good. Believe me, not good. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. There was no response.
Testing. Is this thing on? Testing. I think it's on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another program. Doing a show here today, folks. Doing a show. All right, so we got a show going on. Doing a show here. Today is Thursday, I think. Is today Thursday? Let me check. Today is, in fact, Thursday. I'm correct in my assessment and my assumption that today is, in fact, Thursday. All right. Okay. So, got a show here. Doing a show. Doing a show here and doing a show. Doing a show. So there's a lot going on, folks. There's a lot going on. Folks, I'm going to be very clear here. I am consuming some military-grade energy gum as of this moment, so... Going in. Yeah. We got the wasting times, which is, when did that happen? When did you become the wasting times? This is military energy gum, folks. As I'm going to war. Consuming some Meg. It's a lot. I just consumed a lot of gum. You're gonna start a stream? That's cool. It's a lot of gum. I'm very caffeinated. I'm out of coffee, folks. So we're using some backups here. Oh, okay. Folks, so we're chewing gum, sitting around chewing gum. Got a show going on. Doing a show. I got a show going on. So, folks, I want to be very clear with everyone watching this program. I am not an expert in any capacity. I'm not an expert at all, in any way. But I feel obligated to discuss what is going on in Europe. And so I will be doing so over the course of today's program. Also, I'm going to try to bring about a little levity because Nick Brana made a response to the People's Party fallout, and I'm sure that's going to be entertaining to, listen to. So I'm going to try to, trying to get some popcorn entertainment here. And then, maybe this will be the last show. Maybe this is the last show, folks. Maybe, in between now and tomorrow, nuclear fallout's going to occur. That's possible. And if that does happen, I'm good, because I got my Meg, my military energy gum. Doing some Meg. I love your titles. I read that wrong. Thank you, either way. Thank you. Bodan, welcome to the program. Bodan is the VIP here. The VIB. A very important Bodan. Very important Bodan in the chat, in the stream. So we got a very important Bodan. So all right. Bodan, I have a question for you. It's very difficult to predict the future, right? Would you want me to play Sunder, today? Are you intending on evacuating in the next, 8 hours? Because if not, I can play Sunder today, if that works for you. I'm gonna play Doom for Bodan, folks. And for myself. I'm allowed. But we got a show going on again. Not an expert, so please bear with me. This is something I did not talk about the Ukraine crisis at all. Up until it became a very big deal, because I'm not an expert. And I don't like the idea of saying something stupid and then being wrong and then misinforming people in my audience. But I'm pretty sure at this point, having done whatever research that I've done, combined with, obviously what's going on, I feel like I can, I feel like I should be in, covering this a little bit. But I'm sure that there's a lot better sources for this kind of coverage. I don't know. It's really hard to disseminate international propaganda campaigns. So that is not my my expertise, but maybe it should be. Wow, that fucking military gum. Holy shit, I am. Wow, that is crazy. Did I ever think I'd live through World War III? Probably. I mean, my position is I don't want to be stupid. So if I say something wrong on a political show, I worry about it. So, all right, Bodan, tomorrow you got it. Okay. But yeah, so I'm very, very highly caffeinated now. Because of the military gum. And, so, there you go. Doing a show here today, folks. Doing a show. I don't really know where to begin. So I'm just, I'm just kind of not sure, where to begin on this, but there's a lot going on. Okay, so I want to take y'all through what I woke up to. So I went to bed around 10 p.m. last night, 10:30 maybe. I don't really remember. I think it was around 10. And so I went to bed around 10ish. And, so the first thing I see when I wake up, well, okay, yeah, I also, yes, we need to talk about what's happening in Texas as well. That's on my list. But, So, okay, so, folks, so I wake up today, I'm in a haze. I've been having, some very interesting sleeping experiences lately. So I wake up, and so I check my phone, and, this is, the first thing I saw. So, now, again, just checking my phone, this is the first thing I see. Vladimir Putin appears to threaten nuclear strikes if West launches reprisal attacks. So that was the first thing I see. I'm unaware at this point, upon waking up, that the full-scale invasion of Ukraine has occurred. And so this is the first thing I see. So I want to read this because this is pretty scary. So again, I'm not an expert in the field of foreign policy. I'm not an expert at all, but I can assure you, nuclear weapons, no good. I can also assure you, Vladimir Putin, no good. If someone is going to try to tell you that Vladimir Putin is secretly a good guy, they're probably very dumb and they're being paid by Russia. Again, you see a lot of these so-called American leftists going on RT, and lo and behold, they are all peddling propaganda saying that Putin is a hero and he's saving the Ukrainian people. It's again, anyone who's going to threaten to use nuclear weapons, I'm sorry, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Vladimir Putin appeared to threaten nuclear strikes if any country tried to attack Russia in retaliation for the invasion of Ukraine. In a chilling warning, the Russian president said the consequences of any attempt to strike back would provoke a response never seen in history. Mr. Putin stopped short of directly saying he would deploy nuclear weapons if the Russian army was attacked by forces other than those of Ukraine. But analysts believe the threat was implicit. In his address to the Russian nation broadcast live on television at 5:45 a.m. Moscow time, Mr. Putin said, "Whoever tries to impede us, let alone create threats for our country and its people, must know that the Russian response will be immediate and lead to the consequences you have never seen in history." Again, not good. Not good. So, I'm just saying. Now, whether or not you want to take away from this that NATO and the US and that China or India or whatever, they should just back off and let Putin kill everyone in Ukraine, versus, we should go, I'm not here to tell you what I want to have happen here. I am taking the position of just reading the news and digesting it, but it is not great. It's not like, I don't know, one of the superpowers of the world saying, yo, I'm going to destroy the planet if you fuck with me. Just saying, not good. All relevant decisions have been taken. I hope you hear me. In a stark reminder of Russia's nuclear power, he warned that no one should have any doubts that a direct attack on our country will lead to the destruction and horrible consequences for any potential aggressor. The address amounted to a declaration of war on Ukraine, with the aerial bombardment and invasion following shortly afterward. And I'm going to get into that in a second here. Russia's assault on Ukraine will spark a series of reprisals from international community that include economic sanctions, but it is likely to stop short of risking a wider conflict. In Washington, Joe Biden warned that the U.S. and its allies would respond in a united and decisive way as the United Nations so anyway, I'm going to get more into that part later. But again, economic sanctions. Okay, so I heard earlier that the Russian stock market not doing so good. So economic sanctions are a good thing, right? I guess, sanction the government, sanction the banks, don't sanction the people. I'm sure the people of Russia don't care about, I'm sure, there's the group of people, 25% of the population that's probably crazy and far-right neo-Nazis like we have in the U.S. But again, most people are probably just trying to live their fucking lives. Most people do not want to be, involved in this war at all. And that is why economic sanctions are very important to get right. To my understanding, the sanctions are mostly directed at the banks, at Russian oligarchs and Russian state finance. I know that the Nord Stream pipeline was axed, which is a good thing. I would say cut off Russia, economically speaking, cut off Russia from everywhere else in the world. I think that that's a pretty good strategy. I don't know. That's scary. I don't know. Anyone who doesn't think that this is scary to me, I think is coping. I think, whether or not you think Putin would actually destroy the planet, I mean, let's be honest. All right, okay, let's classify this. Let's figure this out. Putin has two options: kill everyone on Earth, right, including most likely himself, or get destroyed by the rest of the world in a non-nuclear military battle. Either way, he loses, right? So if he views this as a position, right, what it boils down to is if Putin feels like he's losing a war of some kind, if he feels like he's going to actually face any sort of punishment for his actions, why not kill everyone else on the planet? Why not? Right, that's the thing, right? Okay, right, so he wants to use nukes as a deterrent. Okay, But again, like, so, okay, what is the deterrent? If NATO decides to strike and invade Russia or assassinate Putin or something, well, if he's going to be killed in a war, why would he not, just for the sake of spite, use his weapons to destroy the rest of the planet? I'm just saying. Like, if I were a genocidal freak, you know, if I'm gonna die either way, I'm just saying, so, I don't know, I also don't know enough about the whole ordeal to say whether or not this stops at Ukraine, right? Like, okay, Putin's gonna invade, take over Ukraine, and then we're just gonna go back to business as normal? I don't really know what exactly, that would be like. But again, waking up today and seeing a superpower's leader threaten nuclear annihilation, not so good. Not so good. I don't know. I'm not here. I'm not an expert. I'm not gonna tell you, oh yes, do this, do that. Because also, again, I know my place where I'm at. I'm some stupid ass YouTuber. I am not like fucking in the goddamn Secretary of Defense's, you know, whatever. Whatever I say is irrelevant. Like, the things that are going to happen are going to happen. So my, like, you know, pretend I'm going to play like a real-time strategy game, like, that doesn't mean anything. So as far as I'm concerned, not good, very scary. Yeah, that's what I have to say on that. Yeah, so, but, what we should do, I don't know how to spell Chernobyl because I'm stupid. This is, to my understanding, just coming out. How do I close this? I hate the little pop-up windows. I don't want your little fucking douchebag garbage. So this is just coming out. Folks, again, I want to be very clear with today's program. There's a lot of information coming out very quickly. It's impossible for me to give you accurate, 100% accurate details. That is not available to anybody at this time. So I just want, you know, I want to make sure that you don't come away from anything I say in this program knowing something as a fact. Nothing here is factual. Yet, I'm reading a report here. That was just published 1 minute ago on The Independent in regards to what's going on in Chernobyl. So I'm going to read this article here. This morning, I was seeing some info where Russian troops they're invading Ukraine. And they are in the area of Chernobyl as well as other nuclear facilities nearby and other stuff. And so a lot of people online have said that the fighting of the war has already caused some reaction. Again, I don't know. I'm not there. There's no way for me to know that. And I don't want to spread misinformation that is potentially dangerous. But I want to read this article here. Fighting breaks out close to Chernobyl nuclear waste facility, says Ukrainian president. And so this is from The Independent. I'm going to be using a wide variety of sources for this kind of stuff. I want to see what all kinds of outlets in the way that they're framing things to me is interesting because, again, one of the biggest parts of what's been going on here is a propaganda war. Vladimir Putin has been fighting a propaganda war against the United States and the West, pretty much his entire life, really. But, like, especially over the last decade or so, he has definitely ramped up the propaganda warfare. And it's important to understand that, like, we don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know what, You need to understand that we need to have some humility sometimes. Like, we don't have all the info here. And people need to be willing to not draw conclusions based on information that we don't have complete pictures of. Russian soldiers have entered the area surrounding the former nuclear power plant at Chernobyl, the president of Ukraine has said. Volodymyr Zelensky, which, by the way, excellent name. Excellent name. Volodymyr Zelensky. I said this last time. Like, if I ever have a child, I'm going to name my child Volodymyr Zelensky, because that's just a cool name. Confirmed that Ukrainian troops were fighting the Russian army, which had reached the area from the direction of Belarus. Reminder, Belarus, they're just having, some military training. They're just over there, they're training. They're just, it's like field day, like in elementary school. It's just field day. Do I have a video? I have some videos queued up that I'm going to get to in a second here. But I'm just reading information. Information first. Russian occupation forces are trying to seize the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Our defenders are giving their lives so that the tragedy of 1986 will not be repeated. Mr. Zelensky said this is a declaration of war against the whole of Europe, the president added. Well, okay, so I would presume that Zelensky is saying that because he considers Ukraine to be part of Europe, Europe being separate from Russia. To me, again, can we talk about the fact that, okay, what is all of this for? Like, one, borders are dumb. Anyone that thinks borders are real is stupid. Two, this is like a whole ethno-state bullshit. Like, this is like Putin is trying to build an ethno-state of, like, the motherland of all Russians or something. Like, we need to be honest here. Like, this is literally a Nazi takeover of Europe. I mean, I'm not trying to sound an alarm here, but when the guy is saying, oh, Ukraine is technically Russian because they're ethnically Russian. Okay, I don't give a fuck if they're ethnically Russian. What? Like, I'm ethnically European. I'm not European, motherfucker. Like, who cares about your fucking ethnicity? So, like, again, this guy is trying to build again, it's, like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. It's not good, okay? And again, they're at Chernobyl. The development comes hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. At the start of the conflict, Russia targeted air bases and military infrastructure in at least 25 Ukrainian cities in a bid to neuter the capabilities of the Ukrainian Air Force. So again, there's not much info here. But they are at Chernobyl. I have seen some reports that things are not going so well in Chernobyl. I don't know enough about the information here. I'm just giving you what is there for me at the time. I don't want to make any declarative, definitive statements. I don't want people to be misinformed by this program. So, not good, folks. Not good. Yeah, I don't care about what border you're from. I don't care, just as a general statement. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care what your DNA has. I don't care. Like, I don't believe in nationality. Like, and this is just my general theory of life. I don't believe in borders. I don't believe in nationality. I think it's all made up. I think it's all stupid. So the idea that Putin is going to try to invade another country and mass murder civilians for entertainment and soldiers for entertainment under the auspices of reuniting the motherland or something, to me, that's crazy talk. Like, that person he's deeply unwell. He's experiencing psychosis of some kind, and he belongs in the hospital. Borders are dumb. They're dumb. Right? Like, who, like, oh, I can't imagine actually caring about nationality, borders, what country you're from. I get caring about your culture. I care about, oh, I like to be around my family and people that, you know, dance like me or celebrate in my way, or that's fine. Culture is great. But borders and nationality and patriotism, like all these concepts just lead to war. They're like, that is the natural conclusion. Oh, I believe that we belong in a society that has borders. The natural conclusion to that is war. Well, how do the borders get drawn? War. If you even just admit that borders are even a good idea at all, what you're saying is you're pro-war. That's the only way I read that. Because, again, there is no way for borders to be decided without military, without war, and without the threat of death. So that needs to be understood. I don't care if someone is ethnically Russian. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you're ethnically Portuguese. I don't care if you're ethnically German. I don't give a fuck if you're ethnically fucking Polish, okay? I don't care, right? It doesn't mean anything. Borders are dumb. War is stupid. I think that everyone needs to understand that. Like, this is, like, I don't know, the idea that a human being, like, how have we constructed a society where the president of a country is allowed to just say, all right, 250,000 troops I'm going to send into this other country. Y'all are going to die. I'll be fine, though. I'll be fine. I'm chilling because I'm not affected. Like, okay, if we are living in a society that allows war to take place, shouldn't the people wanting war actually have to participate in the war? Shouldn't that be a rule? Like, of course, the guy who is sitting at his desk and pretending he's in a video game, of course he's not going to give a shit if civilians are fucking bombed. Of course he's not going to give a fuck. In my opinion, the people that are handling Putin, they should be making a video game. They should be making like a Civilization 12. Give it to Putin. Make him think that he's like invading Ukraine, and then everyone else is just chilling. Like, put him in his little like sensory deprivation chamber. Let him play his video games and like, you know, like, what? Again, I mean, these are pretty basic things, but borders are dumb. I just have to be very clear. It's the idea of borders are just so stupid. Y'all, I want to, I'm not going to have any sources for this, but I also want to talk about, I want to talk about the goddamn, like, the pro-Putin people and, like, left-wing media. Like, those people need to go. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what, the Jackson Hinkles, the Jimmy Dores, the Nico Houses, all of these people need to go. I mean, like, again, like, these people they're all working for Russia today. They're all marching in lockstep, right? With the same Putin is actually ending the war. Invading Ukraine and killing hundreds of people is actually ending the war in their world. We need to talk about this Azov battalion as well. Anyone that is going to be talking about the Azov battalion should probably consider opening up a window and sending their body through the window. Because, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Oh, there's neo-Nazis in the military. Wow! Whoa, whoa! Hold the fucking phone. Hold the phone, okay? You're telling me there are right-wing Looney Tunes motherfuckers in the military? Whoa. Like, again, anyone that's going to pretend like the Azov Battalion is a big deal is falling for it. They are falling for disinformation, and they're fucking stupid. The United States has neo-Nazis in their military. During the George Floyd uprising in 2020, the United States deployed neo-Nazis in the National Guard to police Black Lives Matter protests. There were several reports done by Unicorn Riot and other organizations that found out that a lot of these National Guardsmen that were deployed during those protests were literal neo-Nazis. They had, like, neo-Nazi patches all over them, right? They are not... Every military in the world has neo-Nazis. Why? Because neo-Nazis, right, and right-wingers are drawn to law enforcement and military. That is how they get their rocks off, okay? So if you are concerned about the Azov Battalion, oh, I'm just concerned. I don't care if you're concerned. I don't care if you're just making a point. You are falling for disinformation. The idea that the Azov Battalion is worth mentioning at all, to me, is bonkers. You don't think Russia has neo-Nazis in their fucking military? You don't think Vladimir Putin is a neo-Nazi? He is invading another country because he wants to reunite the motherland. And you're concerned with neo-Nazis in Ukraine's military that have like 2% support in elections, less than even. Okay, so let me get this straight, right? Russia is invading and murdering hundreds of people, if not thousands at this point, potentially causing a nuclear war because they want to reunite their motherland and create an ethno-state. But the other guys are the neo-Nazis? What? So I'm sorry, if you are concerned at all about the Azov Battalion, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. I don't care about what level of concern you have. I don't care. You are, by definition, a dumb fuck motherfucker. These pro-Putin leftists, I mean, again, they've been a problem for a long time. Let's be honest. They've been a problem for a long, long time. Let's be real. But at this point, if someone is going to tell you that they are against imperialism and they are pro-Putin, they need to go. They should not be able to occupy any of these spaces. They should not be able to call themselves leftists in any capacity without immense pushback. They need to be dismantled because they are very, very, very dangerous motherfuckers. And you ever notice, by the way, how the same people, Jackson Hinkle, Jimmy Dore, and Nico House, the same people that are so concerned with the Azov Battalion, oh, there's like 500 Nazis in the Ukrainian military? Right, okay. These are the same people that tell us, hey, I don't care about black people. I don't care about trans people. I don't care about gay people. We need to work with the right to create a populist movement. Huh? Like, the same people that are doing this populist, right-wing populist People's Party, anti-vax conspiracy, like, thing in the U.S. They're fine with working with Nazis in the U.S. The March for Medicare for All is fine with having Nazis on their show, right, in the U.S. But the Ukrainian military, which is under attack by an imperial invader, having a couple of neo-Nazis in their military, all of a sudden, what? You're working with Nazis? Whoa! Brother, what? You're working with Nazis? You're working with Nazis? Whoa! Whoa! You're working with Nazis. That is their entire fucking philosophy. These same people that have been pro-Canadian Nazi truckers, well, we got to work with the Nazis because they're workers. So we got to work with them, even though they're Nazis. We got to work with them. Oh, yeah, they were linked to neo-Nazi events. Most of the organizers are neo-Nazis. Most of the organizers are connected to American billionaires that fund neo-Nazis. Whatever, they're workers. We got to support them. We got to support the Nazis. In America and Canada, love the Nazis. In Ukraine, fuck them. You ever start to think that these people are being paid to be stupid and to lie to you? Has anyone thought about this? Like, they're just too stupid, man. They're just too dumb. Like, the Jackson Hinkles, the Jimmy Dores, they need to go. I mean, at this point, they need to go. Anyone that supports them in any capacity needs to go. You're done. You're done. The gray zone, you're done. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Get the fuck out. Go on your first flight to Russia and go see how living in Russia is working out for you. Go learn Russian. Go fuck off and never come back. But then also, I wanna say, like, that there's another tendency to make this about how, like, Biden's handling Ukraine. I'm gonna be honest. What the fuck has Biden been handling? Like, okay, so let me get this straight. Now again, I do not like the United States, okay? I do not care for the United States much at all. All right? But Biden handling Ukraine, I don't really see this as an up or down. Like, he kind of just, like, didn't do anything. Now, again, you can have your opinion on that at all. But to say that, like these Jackson Hinkles, these fucking Jimmy Dores, these Nico Houses, these dumb fuck, this so-called revolutionary blackout network, like, those people are, like, have been spending weeks and weeks saying, oh, the war drums, oh, Biden's so bad, the USA is trying to go to war. Well, here's the war. It's happening. And what is the U.S. doing? Biden has said no troops being deployed anywhere. That's what he's saying. So how is Joe Biden simultaneously beating the war drum and sending America to war, and then the war happens and Joe Biden's like, just going to target their banks or whatever, man. Now again, you can criticize Joe Biden for these things, but the right-wing outrage to this and trying to make this about Joe Biden doesn't make any sense. He hasn't done anything. Now, again, if you want to criticize him because he hasn't done anything, okay, great. But you cannot say that Joe Biden is sending us to war, Joe Biden's starting World War III, when he hasn't done anything. Vladimir Putin has literally invaded another country and has already murdered thousands of people. And Joe Biden's the warmonger? Like, I'm sorry. Again, anyone who's falling for this is a dumb fuck. Anyone falling for this is a stupid motherfucker. These Jimmy Dores, these Jackson Hinkles, this whole Russia Today network of so-called leftists, dumb fuck motherfuckers. The gray zone, dumber than dumb. These people need to go. Get them out. If you have a friend that follows them, try to talk to them. Get them the fuck out. It's a cult. It's a conspiracy world. I don't know what to tell you. It is fucking crazy. It is crazy. These people are crazy. They are deeply unwell. They need mental therapy. They need health care. They need to be going to some sort of facility where they can be cared for, because them participating in society is going to be a net negative for everyone else. Let's be honest. At this point in time, if you are pro-Putin, you're a garbage. So I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, so I want to look more into some of these videos because there's a couple of videos that I have here. And again, it's very, very difficult to disseminate information. How does YouTube Shorts? I don't know what. What is this?
From Detroit, Dave.
What is? I don't know how I'm finding a video on YouTube Shorts, and I don't know what YouTube Shorts is. So I'm gonna try to find another. I don't know how that functions. Okay. China is in China, I don't think China wants to be anywhere near this. That's my estimation here. Why would China want to be anywhere near this with a 10-foot pole? Right? They're going to try to both sides this one. And they're going to see what happens, and then they're going to learn. They're going to write down some notes, and then they're going to fuck around as well. Yeah, Shorts is YouTube's new TikTok thing. Well, it doesn't work. It opened up and it doesn't work. Let me just tell you. Okay. So I've got some videos here. Of some of the damage that's been going on in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, again, folks, I am not an expert in foreign policy. This is not my wheelhouse at all. But I feel compelled to discuss it in some capacity on my program today. But again, so I have a video here of the bombing of an airport. And so, now again, I have not seen this video. This was just sent to me. And so I'm just reporting the news. I don't, it's not good. It's not good. It's very bad. I'm gonna just, not have the audio on. But as you can see, there are people, just walking around. There are still many civilians, in these areas. There are probably people in that building. And so this is at an airport where there's civilians. This was also sent to me at an apartment complex. This photograph of someone who survived the bombing of an apartment complex. As you can see, people were sleeping here. They were asleep. They were alive, and then they wake up and then they're dead instantly. Folks, not good. Not good. But again, this photograph here, that I saw, very scary indeed. I also have a thread here that was sent to me of some other stuff. I'm gonna see if I can go to the top of this. So this thread was sent to me as well at some point over the course of the evening. And as you can see, this is over the course of the last couple of hours, people reacting to what's going on. Here's the airport one that I just showed. Here's some more explosions at the airport. Again, people are living here. People are living here. I don't know what to tell you. This isn't a video game where they can respawn and there are civilians that have nothing to do with this. They're just trying to fucking live their lives. And they're being killed by the Russian government for no reason. There's no reason here. So, there's extreme amounts of damage. As you can see, people are trying to get the fuck out. And, tanks just going through. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's very scary. Very scary indeed. So I want to You know, again, and this needs to be said as well. One of the common things that people are saying in response to the war, is that, oh, well, look at what the U.S. did to Iraq. Yeah, that's also bad. Like, I don't understand, like, this isn't, like, we're not talking about, like, fast food chains. We're not talking about, like, what's your favorite pizza topping. Like, this is, like, these are, like, real human beings are dying for no reason. There's no... This isn't like, oh, well, you know, that all war is bad. Like, I don't understand this fantasy where, like, oh, yeah, so Iraq is bad, and that means this is good. Or, Iraq is bad, and that means this is okay. Like, I don't understand, like, again, like, people are dying for no reason. Like, innocent people are dying for no reason. And also, I'm going to go as far as to say that the military are also innocent people. They don't deserve to be dying. So, very bad. Very bad. So far, hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent people have been killed for no reason. Civilian places are being bombed and attacked. It's no good. It's no good. And anyone who's going to tell you that Putin is liberating Ukraine, this is like the right-wing, ultra-imperialist talking point, is that Russia is liberating Ukraine. If any of this looks like liberation, I got a bridge to sell you. I got 10 bridges to sell you. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So hit me up and buy my bridge, because you are one dumb motherfucker. Now my next question is, okay, Russia and Putin invade and absorb Ukraine. Ukraine is now part of Russia. Now what? All right, Ukraine is Russia now. All right. Now what? Do you think the people in Ukraine are going to feel great about Russia and Putin murdering their fucking family, their friends, destroying their homes? Like, I don't, like, okay, Russia takes over Ukraine, now it's part of Russia. Instantly, everyone's gonna be like, yay, Russia! Like, what is, like, this is why borders don't make any fucking sense. You can't just, like, fucking go into someone else's country and say, I own you now. No. Like, no, you don't. Like, that's not how it works. Like, okay, so they take over Ukraine. You know, it's just... Okay, this... I guess I popped this up on screen earlier. But I guess I popped this up on screen earlier. But here's another video that I, you know, not great. Again, there are people here, like human beings, that are here. And, you know, it's very horrifying to see this kind of stuff happen. Again, human beings are being murdered for no reason. Now, again, I would like to ask once again, how is Putin able to say that he is willing to escalate war, the likes of that have never been seen in history, and he is liberating Ukraine? Like, I'm sorry, like, you gotta be a dumb motherfucker. I mean, the only option for you to think that Putin is a good guy, like, okay, Adolf Hitler, but he had nuclear bombs. That's where we're at right now. That's what it seems like. So I don't know what to tell you, but it's not good. That I can tell you very, very clearly. So well, yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Anyway. So, we got a Vic Berger video here. I've been told this one's good. Glenn Greenwald was on Fox News, and a very important guest joined him. And so this is Glenn Greenwald getting cucked on live television. Let's watch.
The idea, though, that simply abstract ideas of a rules-based international order can prevent countries from going to war when they perceive it in their need and their necessity to do so has always been a fantasy. Glenn, the way that war...
Glenn, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wouldn't do this if it weren't for the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who's joining us now. President Trump, thank you for joining us.
There he goes. Oh, no.
Now,
no.
President Trump, thank you for joining us tonight via telephone.
This would not have happened during my administration. In fact, some people were saying, why didn't this take place over the last 4 years during our administration? And it didn't for a very good reason, and I'll explain that to you someday. But it wouldn't have taken place, and it wouldn't have taken place right now.
The idea, though, that...
So, there you go. Vic Berger's giving us a little bit of entertainment here. He just... I can't. Look at this little baby cuck loser fuckface that was watching.
Need and their necessity to do so has always been a fantasy. Glenn, the way that war...
Glenn, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wouldn't do this if it weren't for the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who's joining us now. President Trump, thank you for joining us tonight.
I can't. That's too funny. So, but also, like, can we talk about how Donald Trump's line on this that we saw yesterday? Donald Trump's line is simultaneously that Putin is doing a great job, but also that if he were still the president, it wouldn't have happened. I love what's happening. I love it so much that I would not let it happen if I were president. That's Donald Trump's line on this, which is strange. Like, hey, I'm just saying, it's weird. It's weird. This is weird stuff. Very, very weird stuff. What's happening is cool. It's wonderful. That said, if I were in charge, I wouldn't let it happen. Okay. But anyway, let's watch this one more time.
Glenn, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wouldn't do this if it weren't for the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who's joining us now. President Trump...
It really is too good. It's too good. I mean, it's too good. It really is. It's too good. It's very funny. I got a super chat earlier. I guess I should talk About the fucking super chats. I'm sorry, I've been in my own world. Andrew Kohler, $5. Eric Maria Remarque, in All Quiet on the Western Front, 1928, wrote that wars should be fought by throwing the heads of state in a boxing ring. I agree. I agree. I agree with that. I will tell you, I am much more inclined to support, and again, feel free to disagree, but I am much more inclined to support the U.S. military if the U.S. military is actually fighting Russia instead of murdering a bunch of innocent children in the Middle East. That's just my opinion. Like, if the U.S. military decides, all right, we're going to stop killing innocent children in Yemen. Wait, let me kill a couple more. All right, so I just killed my last kid. Now let's go to Russia. I'm just saying, that makes me more inclined to support them. So, just throwing that out there. That said, I am not convinced. I am not convinced that sending U.S. military to Russia is going to end well. So, I wouldn't say I support that. But imagine if the U.S. military stopped drone striking American civilians and children in Middle Eastern countries. That would be great. So, just throwing that out there. Russia's too white for the U.S. to attack. I tend to agree with that. Like, that's why I am so against war, right? Because, like, it's just not going to create a good outcome. Right? Like, the United States, like, let's be honest, the last good war the United States has had, World War II. Every single person who's ever joined the military and done an operation and support, they're all, Pascal, you bitch motherfucker, you cried too much, you couldn't even come on the stream. I'm not going to let you in my chat. Anyway, like, the U.S. military is a terrorist organization. Full stop. Right? And that's what puts America in this position where it's like, oh, what are we going to do with this? Right? Oh, is the U.S. going to be the good guy? And this is what breeds such distrust of the U.S. is because the U.S., the military, is a terrorist organization. Think of how, like, if you want to compare the amount of direct murders of innocent civilians between the U.S. military and the Russian military, I'm going to be honest, it's not, you don't want to make that comparison if you're in the United States category, okay? It's not going to turn out so well. And that's what breeds a lot of these people that think that the U.S. is always bad no matter what. But I am not convinced that sending troops into Russia, like U.S. military into Russia, is a good idea. I'm also not convinced that drone striking Afghanistan, even though the war is over, question mark. Oh, okay, great news, guys. We ended the war in Afghanistan. Real quick, though, let me just kill 7 more kids. I promise this. I promise this to my, my son just turned 18. I want to have him in the room as we drone strike 7 children. So just hold, I know the war, I know, we just missed it, but his birthday was, I thought that the war, so just missed it. It's my son's 18th birthday. Let me kill 7 more kids. Like, that's the U.S. military, right? So it's like, I don't trust these guys, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. This whole thing sucks. This whole thing, not so good. And again, think of the people that joined the military. Right? Like going back to the Azov battalion. Whoa. Neo-Nazis in the military? We have neo-Nazis in the United States military. We have white supremacists in the United States military. Do you know what was going on in Iraq and Afghanistan? These motherfuckers were raping and murdering civilians, doing it on tape, and then they got away with it. Only some of them got caught. So again, I think it's fine to say that the U.S. military is bad. I got you. I agree. That said, the Russian military is not any better. And so this leads us to being like, okay, so what's the problem here? What is the through line here that is problematic? The military, borders, governments, right? Like, that's the problem. So, I don't know. Anyone taking sides in this whole thing, to me, it's ridiculous. If you are taking a side that isn't Ukraine, you're a dumbass. The only people I care about are the people of Ukraine. That's it. I don't give a shit about anyone else. As far as this is concerned. Send the Nazis to kill each other. Win-win. I mean, fuck. If it was Nazis versus Nazis, I'm in. But the problem with war is, again, it's not ever just Nazis versus Nazis, right? It's Nazis and they bring along their hostages, aka they're fighting a war in a major fucking city. Go fight the war in the middle of the Antarctic, motherfucker. Go play like Spleef in Minecraft. Like, we have fucking video games, dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are we killing each other in real life? We got VR, bitch. Can we play VR Halo? What the fuck? Anyway, that's my segments, plural. So the rule should be, if you want war, you are the one that has to physically fight it, not the other people that don't want to. I agree. I agree. But ultimately, I think everyone needs to understand that none of us have any sway. We are all powerless. And I know that that's... people don't like that sometimes, but it needs to be very, very, very understood that none of us have any power here. We're all just commenting, right? So when someone says, I support this, we need that, none of that matters. It's all posturing. And I'm not saying the posturing is necessarily bad, but like, there's a lot of people that do this thing where it's like, oh, well, you support this. That means that when this happens, you're responsible. No. So I'm just being very honest. We are all actors in this. Well, I guess we're not actors. That's the point. We're in the audience. We do have a power to change things. I disagree. I mean, I'm talking about we as in, right, the 48 viewers in the chat room. None of us are going to do anything here. Like, I'm just, you know, as far as I'm concerned, right? My goal right now is to make sure that Bodan is having a good time. That's my goal, right? Like, as far as anything I can contribute to this world war scenario, if I have a Ukrainian viewer and they want to watch me play Doom, I'm going to play Doom. So tomorrow I'm going to be playing some Sunder. That's my contribution to the discourse. So the only thing I give a remote care about are the innocent people that are being displaced by imperial powers, in the same way that I care about people being displaced by imperial powers in the Middle East and in South America. It's all a big ruse by Putin to get me to play Doom. It's possible. We have Catherine, I need you. Operational security, please settle down. Settle down. Because, all right, let's assume 48 people, right? Okay. It's not gonna happen if you're gonna fucking do this shit in a fucking public chat room, bitch. I'm just saying. I don't see anyone here standing up to go die when the time comes. Just my opinion. Hey, I'm going to be honest here, folks. Now, I haven't gotten into the Texas segment yet. Okay? I am significantly more likely, and I would desire significantly more, to enlist in a war to fight the government of Texas right now than I would to go to Eastern Europe. And that's no offense, right, to, Ukraine. But as far as I'm concerned, I am willing and ready to go to war with the government of Texas. I'm just being very honest with you. Like, if this were a thing that were to happen, and I could legally enlist in warfare against the government of Texas, I would gladly do so without a second thought. That's just because it's closer to me. In both geography and my peoples. They're fucking with my peoples. Blood Moon, you are like writing a memoir in the chat, and I appreciate that. But I don't have enough context to know really what you're talking about. Catherine, I'm just sick of seeing this defeatist attitude that we can't enact change. If change is to be enacted, it's not going to be in a YouTube chat room. Because if change were to be enacted and it were to be organized in a YouTube chat room, the YouTube chat room would stop existing, and then everyone would go home. So, I'm just saying, if 40 people are capable of organizing a historically significant event, it's not going to be in a YouTube chat room. I'm just saying. Folks, I want to talk about what's going on in Texas. So there's two things that I want to talk about when it comes to Texas and Governor Greg Abbott. There are two gigantic stories that have come out of Texas in the last 24 hours or so, 28 hours, whatever it is. And that is, one, it is now illegal to be trans in Texas. You will be sent to jail for being trans or for harboring a transgender person, you are now able to be sent to jail in Texas. The other thing that's important to understand is that as that order was announced, it was also revealed, and I'm going to cover this part first, and then we'll go back to the trans genocide underway in Texas. But I want to do this part first. Former ERCOT CEO says he was following Governor Greg Abbott's order when keeping prices at max cap during February 2021 winter storm. I covered the Texas freeze that occurred last year extensively. Dozens and dozens of people died. Children died. To my understanding, the people of Texas owe a collective $3 billion to these companies. And now it was revealed, the governor orchestrated the whole thing. Now, again, it is very important to acknowledge that it is very possible, right, that the CEOs of these companies are just trying to, deflect. It is very possible that they're like, no, wasn't me. It was that guy. Right? So that's very possible. But either way, we all know the governor does have the power and responsibility here. He could have stepped in and stopped things. He could have, forgiven the debt, right? So it's like the governor here is responsible. So again, there are two major stories that came out in Texas. I'm going to be covering them in the same segment here. Houston, Texas. The former CEO of the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT, said that his order to keep power prices at the maximum during last year's winter storm was issued at the direction of Governor Greg Abbott, according to a report by the Houston Chronicle. Former ERCOT CEO Bill Magnus testified in court Wednesday, saying the former Public Utility Commission of Texas, PUC, Chairman Deanne Walker told him that Abbott wanted him to do whatever was necessary to prevent more blackouts during the storm, even as power plants were coming back online. Last year, Abbott's spokesman told the Chronicle that the governor was not involved in any way. So a lie, a 180 flip here. That's not like a 100-degree flip. That is a 180-degree flip. They went from no involvement to significant involvement to it was his decision. So he wasn't involved in any way to he was the orchestrator of the whole thing. 180-degree flip. And the decision to keep prices at the maximum of $9,000 per megawatt hour. Not kilowatt hour. Megawatt hour. $9,000. This show that I'm doing right now is probably going to cost more than a couple megawatt hours. This show that I'm doing right now, all my machines hooked up, the internet, right, all my devices, right, not even counting YouTube servers, not even counting the fact that all of you are watching the show on your own devices, but just my show, just me producing the show and sending that information into YouTube would cost, at this point, by this logic, probably maybe $100,000 just doing this show. So that's a little weird. The decision to keep prices at the max cap for more than a day after conditions began improving is what brought forth the bankruptcy trial by Brazos Electric Power Cooperative. Now again, it's one thing if prices are capped when there's actually need for it. Now again, I don't agree that the government should subsidize it no matter what. But it's another thing, everything's back online, we're all good, but let's keep the prices at max for another day and a half just to rake in some money? That's a whole different ballgame. The original order was to raise prices to the max was made by PUC on Feb 15 to try to get power plants back online and to encourage large power users to stay offline, per the report. ERCOT kept prices at the cap until Feb 19. 4 days, not all of which were necessary. The former ERCOT CEO has defended the actions taken by officials to prevent the Texas power grid from going into a total blackout that could have taken weeks or months to recover from. Magnus said Abbott's demand that rotating blackouts end was a risk even as power plants came online. Magnus also described how grid problems could multiply after hours of power outages. When reached for comment Wednesday, Governor Greg Abbott's office Provide the following statement as Texans would expect. Gov. Abbott instructed everyone involved, blah, blah, blah. So these covering up his involvement here. I believe, again, the number that I read was $3.5 billion. That the citizens of Texas owe still a year later. But, yeah. And again, this came out the same day that this came out. And I want to read this. So, Governor Greg Abbott released this. It was publicized yesterday, dated the day before. Now, this is not a new law. It needs to be very understood. This is an interpretation of an existing law. So what that means is the Attorney General of Texas is saying that the state of Texas will interpret the law in this fashion. And the only way to decide whether or not this interpretation is correct is by going to court. So I want to read this. Consistent with our correspondence in August 2021, the Office of the Attorney General, OAG, has now confirmed in the enclosed opinion that a number of so-called sex change procedures constitute child abuse under existing Texas law. So what they're saying is, again, this is not a new law. This is existing law. And how are we going to know if our interpretation is the right one? We're going to go to a court, and hopefully that judge wasn't appointed by Donald Trump. Because the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services is responsible for protecting children from abuse, I hereby direct your agency to conduct a prompt and thorough investigation of any reported instance of these abusive procedures in the state of Texas. If you are under the age of 18, right, you are banned from being transgender. What does that even mean? What does that mean? And you think it's going to stop at kids? And teens? And young adults? Why would it? As OAG opinion makes clear, it is already against the law to subject Texas children to a wide variety of elective procedures for gender transitioning. Now, again, I want to be very clear. I'm going to be very, very clear. Would they apply the same standard to, let's say, ADHD medication, anxiety medication, depression medication? Right, so, I'm so worried about kids and their health and safety, so giving them drugs is against the law. Okay. Is cough syrup, is that child abuse? I mean, if they take enough, they'll start tripping. Right? So, if your kid has a cold, if you give them cough syrup, should that be illegal? That's child abuse. Let's go even further here, folks. Let's try to be ideologically consistent. High fructose corn syrup and sugar. Like Cookie Crisp. Look at these sugary cereals and fast food marketed to kids. Is that child abuse? When I was young, my mother raised me on fast food and ice cream. I ate a lot of fast food. I got a lot of Happy Meals. I got a lot of toys from Burger King and McDonald's. And now, I've got weight problems for the rest of my life. I've got stretch marks on my body, presumably for the rest of my life. So, one could make an argument that giving kids sugary cereals or fast food or ice cream is child abuse. Where is the line? What is the ideologically consistent way to draw this line? But it gets worse, folks. Again, it gets worse. There is no logic. The only ideology behind this order is hate. That's it. There is no care about kids. There is no fairness. All of those are vague, nonsense garbage to make you go in line with hate. The government of Texas is committing a genocide of transgender people. That is factual. There is no other alternative interpretation of what's happening here. There is no alternative. We know, it has been factually reported, that when trans people do not get the health care that they need, they are more likely to commit suicide, self-harm, be depressed, have record levels of anxiety. We are aware, these are studies that have been out for decades now, that have proven that when people get the help that they need, medically speaking, that their rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide plummet nearly into non-existence. The only effect that has any bearing on whether trans people will kill themselves or hurt themselves after transitioning in some capacity, the only thing that has any bearing on that at all is societal acceptance. So, we get everything we need medically. We're all set. We're feeling great. We're looking great. God damn. And then we're the victim of a hate crime. The only metric that remains consistent pre and post transition in regards to depression, self-harm, and suicide is societal acceptance. Because there are millions of hateful, warmongering, genocidal maniacs that will do anything that they can to make other people's lives as difficult as possible for no reason. So I'm going to keep reading. So here are the things that they're talking about. For gender transitioning, including reassignment surgeries that can cause sterilization. Okay, so anything that can cause sterilization. A lot of people can get sterilized or have very low sperm counts and other things from the food that they eat. Certain kinds of foods can lead to infertility. Is the government of Texas going to ban certain kinds of food? No. Mastectomies. Sorry, folks, I'm high. Removals of otherwise healthy body parts. The administration of puberty-blocking drugs. Or doses of testosterone or estrogen. Alright, so let's talk about this. So, if you mess with your hormones under the age of 18, you belong in jail. Okay? So we all know, right, that the food you eat dictates your hormone production. We know that, right? So, is steak going to be banned in Texas? Are they going to ban steak? We all know that steak leads to runaway testosterone production that can lead to, heart attacks and other such things. So, is steak banned? It can fuck with your hormones. What if you give steak to someone under the age of 18? Fuck. Removals of otherwise healthy body parts. Like foreskin? Are circumcisions banned in the state of Texas? Now, obviously, yes. By this logic, everyone who circumcises their child should be sent to jail. That's what this order says. The removal of an otherwise healthy body part, aka circumcision, right? If you circumcise your kid, you're going to go to jail. But wait, it's not how it works. Why? Because it's about enforcement. It's about enforcement. Are people going to enforce this in a way that sends parents to jail over circumcision? No. Because even though, yes, circumcision is morally reprehensible, and yes, the law literally says that it's banned in child abuse, no one is going to do that because we're not crazy. That said, there are crazy motherfuckers that will try to enforce this against trans people and parents of trans kids. So that needs to be understood. The law is irrelevant. It's about enforcement and how the enforcement functions. But again, under this law, circumcision is also banned. Steak is banned under this law. Fine, we'll ban soy as well. Soy, steak, and circumcisions. Is birth control banned? That's a good point. Yeah, is birth control banned? Under this interpretation of Texas law, birth control is banned. Texas law imposes reporting requirements upon all licensed professionals who have direct contact with children who may be subject to abuse, including doctors, nurses, teachers. So, like, they are mandating, like, if you see, like, someone with bruises on their wrist, you would report them. They are now saying if you see someone, like, have glitter on their notebook, you have to report them, and they'll be taken away from their parents. There are similar reporting requirements and criminal penalties for members of the general public. So again, if you don't report, you are also a criminal. I know. Doesn't that sound like something that Nazis would do in Germany? Huh? Does anyone? Maybe? So if you know a trans person, you have to call the authorities immediately and turn them in. Otherwise, you go to jail. It's almost like we've been through this in history before. Texas law also imposes a duty on DFPS to investigate the parents of a child who is subjected to these abusive gender transitioning procedures, and on other state agencies to investigate licensed facilities where such procedures may occur. Now, my question is, what if someone transitions and gets access to it, let's say, illegally, because the legal procedures are all blocked, and they start taking puberty blockers, let's say when they're 15, and they don't tell their parents? Would the parents still go to jail? I'm curious. Texas law also imposes blah, blah, blah. To protect Texas children from abuse, DFPS and other state agencies must follow the laws as explained in OAG opinion. And this is another part that was linked here. One's growth and development, therefore, a court could find these procedures and treatments to be child abuse under section blah, blah, blah. Further attempts by a parent to consent to these procedures and treatments on behalf of their children may, if successful, cause or permit the child to be in a situation in which the child sustains a mental or emotional injury that results in an observable and material impairment in the child's growth. Huh? What does that even mean? Like, if my kid falls down the stairs and breaks their arm, is that my fault? I mean, you can make an argument, right? You know, you should have made the stairs safer, right? But it's like, if the kid gets hurt at soccer practice, like, you know, twists their ankle at soccer practice, is that my fault now? Or, wait, no, it's only if the kid is trans. Again, I need you to understand, all of these opinions are broad, so broad that they could be applied to so many other things. But ultimately, it does not matter because it's about enforcement. The only enforcement that's going to be happening here is abusing transgender people. Additionally, the failure to stop a doctor or another parent from conducting these treatments and procedures on a minor child can constitute a failure to make a reasonable effort to prevent an action by another person that results in physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child. Again, you have to report them. Everyone goes to jail, especially the kid. Now note, you might not know this, you might not be in the trans community, as I am. I've got a community, we're in the community. We all hang out by the water cooler, talking to a lot of trans people, okay? So another thing about this that's irrespective of enforcement of this law is, again, the othering that this message sends. There are people that I know that live in Texas that are trans. I know of people that are in Texas that have trans kids, that are trans kids, 16, 17. And I can tell you that there is going to be a mass wave of self-harm and suicide in the state of Texas in the trans community. I can tell you. That's going to happen. And it's not because they are trans and, oh, they're mentally ill and they're crazy and they're going to kill themselves. It's because of this right here and the result of the government and the society that they live in. I know plenty of trans kids, stories of trans kids that killed themselves because their parents did not accept them. So, okay, your parents don't accept you. Your government doesn't accept you. And now the government is going to send militiamen to send you to prison. And everyone who you've ever spoken to is going to report you. Or else they'll go to prison. I can tell you right now, if not already have taken place, there are going to be trans people, mostly kids, that are going to kill themselves. And those deaths are, again, part of a genocidal act and effort by the Texas government and by the broader U.S. government, and let's be real, the cis people all over the world. What the fuck is wrong with the cis people? Let's be honest. Y'all got some real fucking Looney Tunes motherfuckers in your ranks. Let's be honest. Trans people aren't starting World War III over here. I'm just saying. It's not the trans people threatening nuclear warfare. I'm just throwing that out there. So again, this is not good, folks. If you live in Texas, if you know people that live in Texas, I recommend reaching out to them. I personally recommend, if you are trans, if you know someone who's trans, if you have a trans kid, if anyone anywhere in your involvement in your social circles are trans, help them leave the state. If you are trans in Texas and you want a GoFundMe, I will happily share any GoFundMes or fundraising efforts to get you out of the state of Texas. I recommend the nearest state that has good options is Colorado. So I would recommend get the fuck out as soon as possible. But that's not going to be possible for everybody. Not everyone is going to magically come up with the millions of dollars it's going to take for everyone to move out of Texas. And again, where's the Second Amendment, people? If I have a trans kid and a government tyrant comes to my door saying that they're going to steal my child, what does the Second Amendment have to say about this? You're telling me big government tyrants are going to come into my house and steal my child and send me into a steel cage? I believe that we amended the Constitution to fight against that. And that was the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which I am in wholehearted endorsement of at this moment. If you are in Texas and you can't afford to leave, can you afford a gun? Because maybe, just maybe, the Constitution says you're allowed to have that gun. And you're allowed to defend yourself against government tyranny. That's what the Second Amendment says. But again, it's about enforcement. The people that would enforce, the lawyers in this case, the state in this case, would throw the Second Amendment out the window ASAP. Because to them, it doesn't matter. You can get married at the age of 14 in Texas with parental consent. That's legal. But being trans is illegal. Again, folks, it's all falling apart. I don't know what to tell you. It's all falling apart. All right, folks. I've got one more segment that I'm going to do today. And that is going to be responding to the People's Party thing. And this is going to take me a while because I spent a lot of time doing everything else. Alley CIA said that they were going to write something controversial. Feel free to DM it to me or something if you don't want to be publicly harassed for a bad take. And also, anyone else that disagrees with anything that I've said, feel free to let me know. I mean, I hope that everyone can feel comfortable speaking out against me. Ooh! Alright, so I'm gonna get into this Jimmy Dore garbage, because it's entertaining, and I feel like we need to end the show on an entertaining note. But first, I want to go to the bathroom, and I want to get myself a drink, of the non-alcoholic variety. I feel like I have to specify that because of how people view me in this chat room, which may or may not be fair, that viewing. So I'll be right back, folks. There you go. I will be right back. So if anyone new comes in here, tell them I'll be right back. So. Alright, we didn't even get through the whole song here. Alright. Folks, I'm back. Oh, something happened. My camera. Holy shit, we just got fucking shelled, folks. Just got goddamn shelled. My camera's all fucked up. Am I allowed to make war jokes? I feel like people in my audience are okay with that. I mean, you know, I feel like I made my opinion very clear. But also, you know, I can't help myself. Folks, so we got this military gum, this chewed up Meg. Folks, if anyone wants to purchase my chewed up Meg, I'll throw in a couple max hairs, because there's a max hair on this, because I put it on my desk. If anyone wants to purchase my chewed up Meg military energy gum, it's probably still got some caffeine in there, so probably a little bit. So if you want the chewed up Meg, the bidding starts at $10. Send me your address in the 50 United States, and I will send you the chewed up Meg ASAP. The bidding starts at 10 US. Doesn't vary. No one bids on my body parts. For whatever reason, people are fine giving me money for no reason. Like, they're fine just giving me money. No strings attached. But when I offer some chewed gum, when I offer, like, some fingernails or some foot skin, you know, then all of a sudden, oh, where'd my money go? I lost all my money. I got sanctioned. I don't have any money anymore. Headline in a newspaper, cryptocurrency mining power consumption in Texas could increase 5 times by 2023. I mean, I wouldn't trust anything ERCOT says, but also, okay. People will bid on my body parts, just not the ones I offer. People only want to bid on the body parts that are currently attached to me. I want to detach my body parts and then mail them to people. My body parts that are currently attached. I mean, let's be honest. There's a pandemic going on. This is MEG. This is military energy gum. It's caffeinated gum. Where did I get it? That's not important. But, again, folks, I'm glad to sell my body parts. But, we are currently in a pandemic. So please understand, only as of this moment, I will be selling the detachable body parts.
Next guy.
So. I've bid. Fucking I've bid. Russia plans to encircle Kiev, force the legitimate government of Ukraine to flee, and install Vichy Ukrainian puppets. I don't know what Vichy means. All right, folks. So, I am a fair person. I consider myself to be a fair person. Recently, I have been speaking about the troubles of the People's Party. And people have told me that Nick Brana went on the Jimmy Dore show to respond to some of the allegations against him. And so this is a 24-minute video. I will be watching this probably on like 1.5x. So please understand that. I'm not going to sit here for 24 minutes. I'll pause a lot because that's the kind of person I am. But I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to guess what's going to be in this. Because I have been following the People's Party for a long time. And this is the playbook. So what's going to happen is everyone who disagrees with Nick Brana is a secret liberal Democrat Party shill. And they're all were paid by Nancy Pelosi to infiltrate the People's Party and destroy it from within. That's going to be my guess. A lot of people say, oh, well, the People's Party, it's a populist party. And so we don't want liberals in the populist party. I don't know what that means. If your party is populist, shouldn't you appeal to everyone? But we're going to get into this. Now, again, folks, real quick. There was a big like fight in the People's Party over multiple things. Nick Brana wanted to make a public statement of the People's Party to be anti-vax. They wanted to be anti-mandate, anti-vax, and they wanted to make that public. Half of the People's Party were like, what? What? Like, are you serious? Like, because here's, for those of you that don't know the scam, this is a pyramid scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme. The People's Party, and I'm going to be very clear. And again, I'm going to play this whole video here, so you know, I'm being fair. They bring people in to do free labor under the guise of volunteering for organizing a People's Party. So they do free labor, going out and calling people to say, hey, look, it's a People's Party, join. Hey, look, People's Party, donate to the People's Party. So they get people to do free labor and fundraise for Nick Brana's personal project. Nick Brana, his father is the Treasury Secretary of the People's Party. We know that the People's Party spent $20,000. They are not that big of an organization, so $20,000 is a big amount. On a logo, first of all, $20,000 on a logo. What? They spent $20,000 on a logo that never even got made. Where did that money go? Very curious. Again, it is a Ponzi scheme by all definition. They bring people in thinking, oh, we're going to break up the duopoly. Again, I agree. Fuck the duopoly. Fuck the Democratic Party. Fuck the Republican Party. Fuck them. I agree with that. But they bring people in that are rightfully disillusioned with the parties. Oh, we're going to shake things up. We're going to get a third party. We're going to break the duopoly. They volunteer their time without pay. That's the key part. They volunteer. They made a culture that appreciates volunteers. They profit all of the fundraising. They pocket, rather, all of the fundraising. And then launder it via donations or purchasing a logo to people. Who knows where that money went? Probably one of their friends. It was probably just one of their friends, and they spent $20,000 on a logo. And then whatever. Again, it's a Ponzi scheme. So with that being said, if you're still falling for the People's Party bandwagon, dumber than dirt. But feel free to listen to me tear apart Nick Brana's response. On top of all of this, Nick Brana is accused of sexual harassment. Now again, you can be romantically involved with someone. You can fuck someone 30 times. That's great. I endorse fucking people consensually. Okay? Fuck everyone you want as long as it's consensual. But then the moment that person revokes consent, you're done. Right? So it doesn't matter if they used to fuck or if they wanted to fuck at another point. That's irrelevant. What matters is when someone says no, you back off. Nick Brana did not get the memo. So he went on the Jimmy Dore show. The Jimmy Dore, again, a Russian asset. Let's be honest here. He's pro-Putin. He is pro-invasion of Ukraine. At this point, it is very clear Jimmy Dore is a Russian asset. Let's be honest. Anyone denying that is a dumb fuck. Nick Brana went on the Jimmy Dore show to give a propaganda piece. Again, fundraising. This is all a big fun. Nick Brana is going to go up here, say the liberals got me. Please donate to the People's Party so we can replace the liberal insurgents. And then his dad, who so happens to be the Treasury Secretary, they're just going to pocket the money. So let's watch.
He's Nick Brana. He was Bernie Sanders' National Political Outreach Coordinator in 2016. He's the
That is also not true. Nick Brana has consistently lied about his position in the 2016 Bernie campaign. He did not have this he was the national spokesperson, He was never in such a high-ranking position. That's part of the mythology.
Next guest, he's Nick Brana. He was Bernie Sanders' National Political Outreach Coordinator in 2016. He's the co-founder of the People's Party, a new political party set to shake up America's broken political system.
First of all, People's Party is not new. They've been around since 2017. At least the Green Party is running candidates that are getting 2%. At least. The People's Party has yet to run a single candidate. They are not even filed as a party in 49 states. So
he helped organize Occupy Congress and an ongoing action on Capitol Hill. Please welcome Nick Brana. Hi, Nick. Good to see you.
Hey, Jimmy. Good to see you. And thank you, by the way, for making everyone at the People's Party watch your segments on mandates and the social credit system that it's leading to with Max. A lot of people need to see that.
Okay, fantastic. Having you on today, Nick, because there's been some accusations leveled at you. Now, you know how it goes. When you get to the left of the Democratic Party, there's a playbook on how to take you down. Now, so you've been accused by people of a kind of sexual harassment, right? Is that correct? Can you tell me what's going on?
So again, I am accused of sexual harassment. So I'm going to go on someone else's show who was openly accused of sexual harassment and then defended it and then said it was no big deal. I'm just saying, if I am ever accused of sexual harassment, the first thing I'm not going to do is go on an open and confirmed sexual harasser show to talk about how I didn't do anything. I'm just saying, Jimmy Dore is not where you want to be going. If you are trying to dispel this notion. But again, it's all propaganda. It's all propaganda because Jimmy Dore, his audience is inoculated. His audience has been vaccinated against caring about sexual harassment. And so that's why Nick Brana is going on here. He knows everyone watching Jimmy Dore is cool with sexual harassment because Jimmy Dore is a sexual harasser. So in order to watch Jimmy Dore and respect Jimmy Dore, you have to be okay with sexual harassment. So he's fishing in those waters very purposefully, and that's important to understand.
That's right. This is a part of this. This is the playbook that's done, essentially. We've seen it with Julian Assange. We've seen it with the New York mayoral candidate, Shahid Buttar. this is done. You warned me. Lee Camp warned me. So many people have warned me that this eventually happens if you challenge the establishment long enough. There have been efforts to buy me out.
So again, folks, this is not the first time that they've used this playbook. The People's Party, I'm drinking seltzer, please bear with me. The People's Party have done mass firings of board members several times. If you ever criticize or offer constructive criticism in People's Party Slacks, you will get banned. Even if you're a volunteer, you've phone banked for 8 hours on behalf of the People's Party, giving them a lot of money and fundraising and giving them your time. They will literally ban you if you say, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, are we planning anything for that? They will ban you because they don't want criticism at all.
Literally, by some of the richest people in the world, offered me jobs. There have been efforts to character assassinate me, DNC members, and eventually this is done to people who challenge the establishment enough. It was done to you. It's been done to so many people. And so there was an effort inside the People's Party as well to do this to me. And it's situated in a larger effort to really turn the People's Party in a more liberal direction that opposes mandates, that is okay with having Democrats run our national committee, our state committees, and in fact...
So he made a little bit of a misspeech there. But what he is saying is that Democrat insurgents, these liberals, so to speak, went in the party, donated hundreds and hundreds of hours of free time and labor and money to destroy the People's Party because they're liberals and they think that vaccines work. The people, now again, I want you to understand one of the big fights that happened, right, like as Paula Jean quit the People's Party, right, was Nick Brana wanted the People's Party to come strongly out as anti-vax. He wanted the party itself, not Nick Brana. He wanted the party itself to come out against vaccines. Okay? So, and everyone else was like, actually, vaccines are kind of good. So, I don't know what to tell you. And then he was like, rah, liberal! And then banned everyone. Again, if you are being... Again, you ever notice how the populist parties are always, let's work with right-wingers and neo-Nazis. It's never, let's work with people that agree that vaccines and hand-washing are a good idea. Let's agree with people that think that duopoly sucks, but also like to wash their hands before supper time. You ever notice? It's always, oh, let's Canadian trucker neo-Nazis. They're great. Putin, neo-Nazi, great. All the neo-Nazis are wonderful. It's the liberals that you got to watch out for. This is like Andrew Cuomo going on Chris Cuomo. That is so true. This is literally, it is the same fucking thing. That is so true. All right.
When others express opposition to that, really, this was used to try, these allegations against me have been used to try to take the party in a much more liberal direction as opposed to a populist direction, whereas the majority of the party is...
Now, what do these words mean, liberal and populist? If you sat down... Now, I just want to say very clear and explicitly, Nick Brana, come on my show, buddy. I would love to have Nick Brana come on my show. Open invitation. But what does liberal and what does populist mean? In this context. Liberal, in my opinion, is probably anyone that supports capitalism. What does populist mean? Well, populist honestly doesn't even mean anything. Let's be honest. Like, you know, fun fact, there is a People's Party in Canada. They're the neo-Nazi party. Whoops. So, I'm not saying that that means that Nick Brown is a neo-Nazi or that they're coordinating with the Canadian People's Party. I'm just saying it's interesting. But what does populist mean? Populist makes it seem like, oh, something's popular. So, being anti-vax is popular, apparently. Americans typically want the pandemic to last even longer. Right? That's why it's so dumb. This anti-vax, anti-mandate position helps big business. At the end of the day, these are liberals. Nick Brana and Jimmy Dore are liberals. They are parroting Joe Biden administration talking points. They are parroting talking points from neoliberal think tanks that want capitalism to keep on chugging, because if we did a lockdown, that would hurt our bottom line. That would hurt our profits. Lockdowns for public health? No way. These are the pro-Medicare for all people. We want to give people free health care so bad that when we actually get free health care for once, we're going to tell everyone not to take it. You're telling me the vaccine that can end this pandemic and make sure that no one else dies from this virus is free. Healthcare is free. And you're telling people not to take it. This is the Medicare for All party.
Solidly populist, and I believe is in favor of coming out against the mandates.
So you're saying this is politically motivated by people inside the party. This accusation is over politics. And so what action was taken? So is there some kind of internal process?
So to be very clear, this mandate bullshit was after, like, Nick Brana was under sexual harassment investigation in December of 2021, according to the Status Quo bombshell report. And this happened in February. So he's been under investigation for 3 months. If the investigation was political, wouldn't they have politicized it 3 months ago? I'm just asking.
That happens when someone makes an accusation like this?
Absolutely. There was. And so the individual who accused me brought her complaint to the board, and the board convened the Board of the People's Party, the National Coordinator Circle. They convened an investigation. This is our process. Worked with our general counsel on this. That investigation, within a couple weeks, they took testimony from myself, from the individual accusing me. They also interviewed the two of us. They examined the evidence, and within a couple weeks, they had
concluded. So wait a second. They took testimony and they interviewed you? So first they took testimony, and then after that was over, wait a couple days, and then they interview you? Interesting.
That in fact, this was politically motivated, and that there was no evidence. And later, she even admitted that she had no evidence to back up the claims. And they called it...
Okay, to be very clear, this board of investigators did not come to a conclusion. That is not true. Second of all, there being no evidence of something doesn't mean it didn't happen. I have been raped and sexually assaulted before. I don't have evidence of it. I didn't film it. Does that mean it didn't happen? What? What? I'm just like...
A coup attempt. That, of course, there were a couple of members of the board who were opposed to how I was leading the party and had a more liberal vision, along with contractors who were working with us, had a more liberal vision for the party, as opposed to the populist vision that the majority of the party had and that I had. And that was what motivated these allegations in the first place.
A majority of the party did not have this, quote, populist vision. If it did, they would have made a statement because they would have won the votes. From my understanding of the reports, it was pretty deadlocked, 50-50, and that's why he ended up firing about half the board. So again, he's lying already.
And these board members who helped facilitate and help conspire to create these allegations with her, with my accuser, they had expressed a long-standing interest in getting rid of me or replacing me. And so from start to finish, this has been politically motivated. It was supposed to conclude within a week or two. It didn't. It was extended when they realized there was no evidence. It was extended over the course of several weeks, over the course of months, and ultimately culminated in an attempt to remove me and other members of the national leadership and dozens of delegates from the party, populist delegates, for political disagreements with this other group.
Okay. So let's be as charitable as we possibly can here. Okay. So it's political. They disagree with you because you're an anti-vax freak. And other parts of the party think, hey, maybe we should try to tell people to actually embrace free healthcare. Wouldn't it have been great for Medicare for All if everyone got the vaccine in April 2021 and then we just ended the pandemic? And then it would be like, whoa, free healthcare ended the pandemic. Wouldn't that have been a great marketing strategy? Well, these people are fucking weird, man. They're fucking strange. They're very strange people. But again, it is a political party. If people disagree in a political party, they vote, right, and the majority or, whatever the threshold is the one that the party goes with in that direction. What do you mean? You're telling me, wait, people in a political party were engaging politically? Whoa! Whoa! I have never heard that before. Next, you're going to tell me you're going to have primaries. And that people are going to run for office, and then someone might get less votes and lose the primary and then not get to run for office under the People's Party label. Whoa! Whoa! You're telling me people in a political party were acting politically. You're telling me people in a political party that didn't like your leadership wanted to vote for someone else to lead the political party? Politically? Whoa. Doesn't that sound like fucking Hillary Clinton? Like, let's be honest. This sounds exactly like Hillary Clinton.
So you're saying that you wanted to make a populist party. They had a different idea. They wanted to make it what it sounds like, Democrat light, right, of a party. And they were...
The whole point of a people's party was it's a party for people. If you disagree, that makes you a Democrat light? What does that even mean? What's the problem with the Democratic Party? The problem is it's corrupt, right? The problem is like, oh, AOC went in there and she wants to defund the police and she can't get that through and because of the corruption. So we should make our own party where we want to defund the police and then we'll be able to get that through because question mark, right? So if someone agrees with you, fuck the Democratic Party, and they're doing a third party that is pro-left wing, none of this makes any sense, but they just say it and people lap it up.
Against certain things. They were for mandates and they were against things that were at the core principle of the party. And so now I'm reading in the statement that you released, and it says here that the accuser's original complaint had not even used the word sexual harassment. What was the original complaint about that?
That's correct. It was the members of the board who had a political opposition to me who in fact gave it that term, sexual harassment. And later, the allegation was even escalated by her because she changed her story. As members of the committee later told me, every time that they spoke with her, one of them said, quote, every time I speak with her, she tells me a different story. Every time I speak with you, you tell me the same. Another member of the committee, a 3-person committee who was brought together to investigate, that concluded that in fact there was no merit to these allegations, found dozens of inconsistencies in her own statements. This is what happens to people who challenge the establishment, who challenge the power authority.
Okay, so, all right. Different does not mean, like, contradicting details. As someone who's been through multiple traumatic events in my life, I can tell you, the way I describe those traumatic events change over time. Now, it's one thing if I say I was on the roof when this happened, and the next day I say I was actually in the basement. That is a contradicting detail. Different does not mean contradicting. That needs to be that, like, he's saying that she told different stories each time, not contradicting stories. Who cares if they were different? Sometimes you remember things in a different way. Sometimes you explain something in a slightly different way. Sometimes you add on a couple details you forgot the first time. Were the stories contradicting each other? And also, again, this whole politically motivated. It's a political fucking party, douchebag. It's a fucking political fucking party, you stupid douchebag. Of course the people are going to be political in a fucking political fucking party. Absolute snowflake baby.
Over enough time, this is what inevitably appears to occur because the establishment, we've seen it against so many candidates, so many leaders of movements, the establishment will weaponize any kind of identity or any kind of allegations of sexual harassment against people who are trying to challenge the establishment.
Well, it is a playbook. It definitely is. There's no doubt about it that that's a playbook.
Okay, sure. Sometimes that happens. And
if you get to look what if you get to the left of the Democratic Party, their playbook is you smear them. You call them alt-right. You call them a white supremacist. You call them racist. You call them a sexist. They did that and then you accuse them of a weaponized #MeToo thing. And that's the playbook. That's how it's worked. They did it to Shahid Buttar, that total garbage. They did it in the New York mayor's race. He was accused of groping someone he was dating. And then they giggled about it. The people making the accusations giggled about it.
I love how he just someone was accused of groping while dating, as if that's impossible. Oh, you're dating, so that means you get to just like have sex with me whenever, however, because we're dating. What if you're not in the mood right now? Now, I'm not, not everyone is horny 24 fucking 7. If you're walking down the street and your partner starts like fucking like motorboating your titties or something, and there's like, you know, people everywhere staring at you, that's fucking weird. It doesn't matter if you're dating. Like, what? What? So already, now again, yes, it is true. Sometimes people will falsely declare someone a sexual harasser with no reasoning, and that, you know, that does happen. That is true. It has happened before, and it probably will happen again. That's why you investigate things. But now, again, these people are going to say you cannot sexually harass or assault someone you're dating. These are not the arbiters of what is sexual harassment. They're done. One strike, you're done. You don't know what sexual assault or harassment even is. Why would I listen to you talk about this at all?
On television. So this is not uncommon. It happened to me, right? Everybody saw it. It happened to me right out in the open. And
it happened right out in the open. What does that mean? It happened right out in the open, as opposed to not in the open? What?
So, I mean, they called Bernie a sexist. They called Jill Stein a Russian. I mean,
who's they? I think it's kind of safe to say Jill Stein doesn't have the best intentions on a lot of things. I voted for Jill Stein, so I'm allowed to say that. But who is they here? Who is they? I'm so interested in who the fuck they is. Who the fuck is they? Because it seems to me that they is changing every time. First, they is the liberals. Then they is the Democrats. Then they is the non-Democratic party, but still liberals. Then they are the populists. Then they are the people that disagree with me in my political party. Who the fuck is they? Who is they in each one of these?
If you get to the left, Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders. So he's immediately a racist. He's immediately a right-winger. And he's never voted for a Republican in his life. So this is the playbook, right?
He's never voted for a Republican in his life. Didn't he vote for Donald Trump? Didn't he say he voted for Donald Trump? And also, people aren't calling Joe Rogan a racist because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. People are calling Joe Rogan a racist because he constantly talks about racism on his show. He just had Jordan Peterson on his show like a month ago talking about like race realism. And how like, whoa, you know, like black people, man, they're like different. That's what he was talking about on his show with Jordan Peterson a month ago. That's why people call him racist. Now, you can maybe disagree and maybe say like, oh, I don't think he's racist. He's just really stupid and he doesn't mean it or whatever. That's fine, right? But no one calls him racist because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. No one does that. 0 people have done that. I'm just saying. No one thinks Joe Rogan is a racist or a right-winger because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. People disagreed with him endorsing Bernie Sanders. At the time, I thought it was a good idea, personally. But you could disagree with him for endorsing Bernie Sanders from any position. But it's not related to him then, at other points in time, being a racist right-wing weirdo. So again, this guy he's not telling you the truth.
Right? So, and it seems like there isn't any there's no backing up. Well, it says that the whistleblowers at the accuser's last place, the person who, what's the name of the person accusing you?
You're not allowed to say the name now, not saying the name. I don't want to go into that, but yes.
Okay, so
I know what you're getting at.
It says the whistleblowers at the accuser's last place of employment told us that she had done the same thing at their organization, and she was presently doing with us, accusing board members of sexual harassment and abuse, using it to split the board and demand professional advancement. It also turned out that she was friends and former colleagues with Shahid Buttar's accuser, who had sought to sink his congressional challenge to Nancy Pelosi, and even tried to get us to hire her accused. What? So the person who's accusing you wanted you to hire Shahid Buttar's accuser?
Correct. And you're right that she had done this at the last organization that she worked at.
So I had heard that before. You know, that's not, come on. Now, is there any proof that she tried to get you to hire Shahid Buttar's accuser? Because that would be crazy. But
Yes, we have messages exchanges and conversations. Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if any of that's going to be made public. If you've got irrefutable evidence that this person is a plant, wouldn't you publicize it? I'm just saying, I would. If I was with 100% certainty that someone who was going after me was a Democrat Party plant, I would fucking publish that shit ASAP. Right? But guess what? I'm guaranteeing you they're not doing that because they know that this person is not a Democrat Party plant, and they're not saying their name because they don't want to escalate this situation, because then it might get into legal trouble for them. Again, every single fucking time anyone criticizes Nick Brana, they're a Democrat Party plant. In fact, go to my fucking channel page. I made a video about the People's Party like yesterday. And people called me a fucking Democrat Party plant. Hold up. I'm going to show you that. Like, this is like the fucking... This is the playbook for these people. Where is this People's Party video? Here it is. Hold up. Let me show you the comments I got when this story broke. These are the comments I got. It's the same every time. It's the same bullshit every single time. So here's the comments I got on my video from yesterday. Nick Brana is a straight up good guy. And he has some really good people and some planted moles to create chaos and discord. I believe the commentator here is a very solid place set aside in hell. So I'm going to hell because I don't like someone on the internet. I'm going to hell? Wouldn't you want people to go to hell if they're like war criminals or murderers? Or rapists? Because I don't like someone online, am going to hell. Isn't that a little extreme? Isn't that a little fucking extreme? I'm sorry. Even if everything I did was wrong, and even if I was truly super incorrect and Nick Brana's a great guy, do I really belong in fucking hell? Like, let's be honest. Come on, bro. But again, look at this. This is 15 minutes ago. So, like, literally, like, as I'm doing this live stream, people are coming to this video and giving the talking points. They've been programmed. These are NPCs that have been programmed, folks. This is like you're playing Skyrim and someone got shot with an arrow into their knee or something. These people are not actual human beings. They have no critical thinking skills at all. They are NPCs. And he has some really good people. Many people. I have the best people. The best people. And some planted moles. What does that mean? Planted moles. What is that language? So again, 3 hours ago, this was this morning, and I responded before the show. Another Me Too liberal smear of someone actually challenging power. First of all, does Nick Brana actually challenge power? No. They don't. How have they challenged power? Saying, I do declare I don't like Democrats, that's challenging power? That's not challenging power. That's just saying you don't like Democrats. Oh, I'm going to start an organization, not a political party because it's not registered anywhere. I'm going to start an organization to make money, and I'm going to give $20,000 for a logo that never happened. I'm challenging the establishment. What? How is that challenging the establishment? Like, I was just saying, it's just the friend of Shade Batar's accuser. These shit-lib infiltrators wanted to... Look at this. Shit-lib infiltrator. Wanted to turn People's Party into a liberal party. We are a populist party. That's how we defeat power. The workers against the oligarchy. Okay, so you're a People's Party, you're populist, that's how you defeat power. Can you give me one example of that happening? So again, you can look at more of these comments, but I'm getting distracted because I'm high. But again, they get their talking points, they get their programming, they install their firmware update, and then they're deployed to go harass people incessantly with the same talking points. Now, again, every time I get these comments, right, like, you know, I want to invite them on the show. I'm not convinced that these are real people. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not convinced that these are real people with real unique identities. I'm not. So every time these people comment, I invite them on the show. I invited one of these fucking freaks on the show the other day. And they were posting in the chat, they were trolling in the chat, and as soon as I started the call, they left. And they said, oh, can't do it. Right? I am convinced that these force the vote weirdos are not real people. I'm convinced. Some of them maybe are real people. It's possible. But I'm convinced most of these comments that I get are not real people. Because if they were real and they act... Wouldn't you want to come on my show? And own the liberal smear? Democrat? And then so
the board members and your general counsel decided that you had to take action to safeguard the party before they attempted to purge the party of populist leaders, delegates.
Action to safeguard the party. Isn't that the same thing Democrats say? When they criticize the squad for wanting universal health care or child tax credit? Oh, we're doing this because we got to safeguard the party. What about those in the battleground states? We can't talk about defunding the police. The party. We got to think about the party. It's about the party.
And volunteers. We also knew that we couldn't let them continue to abuse volunteers, shift our message and our mission to identity politics, because that's what it seemed like to me that was happening. That certainly seemed like from the outside that, in fact,
identity politics. What is? Can someone tell me what the fuck identity politics means? And what does getting vaccinated against the coronavirus have to do with identity politics? What?
I even warned you about it, right? I even warned you about that.
Correct.
I go, hey, these people aren't on board with your vision. This is not the right fit, and you should clean house. And I told you that a long time ago. Having failed to derail the party away from the populist mission that has galvanized thousands nationwide, we can expect relentless attacks on the party and me. Expect those who were removed to attack on DNC-aligned and billionaire-funded media outlets that have long sought to bring down the People's Party, especially since forced to vote. As long as I'm with the People's Party, you'll never submit to the threats and blackmail. So that's what it is.
I mean, this guy's got main character syndrome. They really, like, he actually thinks that, like, George Soros is spending money to punish him because he wanted to force the vote. Democrat, oligarch, billionaire funded because you wanted to force the vote. What?
I mean, that's what immediately I was like, well, I warned you this was going to happen. It's going to happen. Here it is. And I saw somebody being interviewed about this on another show. It wasn't your direct accuser, but it was someone who has been accusing me of every horrible thing under the sun. Someone I've never met, never spoke to, don't know who she is.
Who also happens to be a friend of my accuser.
Oh, okay. So and I've tried to tell people, when somebody joins a new organization like the People's Party, that has no money and no power, they have no power at all, 100% no power. Democratic Party actually has power, and they have a lot of money. So
now that's an important point. The People's Party does have no power. Thank you. So they're challenging the establishment with no power.
If I was to join an organization and then it turned out it wasn't what I thought it was and I didn't like it, I would leave and I wouldn't spend another year trying to take down that organization that has no money and no power. That to me sounds like an infiltrator who's somehow getting paid somewhere to try to divide the left and try any grassroots.
So Jimmy Dore literally just endorsed the Justice Democrat strategy. He just did it. He literally just endorsed the Justice Democrat strategy. He said, oh, I would join a party that has power and then challenge them because they have power. He just endorsed AOC. He just endorsed the squad. But wait, no. Whoops. No, it's actually, what the fuck is this guy doing? This guy is Looney Tunes. I've been telling you motherfuckers that this guy has been crazy for like 2 to 3 years now. I've been telling you motherfuckers. These motherfuckers are crazy. They are crazy. The People's Party is crazy. Jimmy Dore is crazy. Jackson Hinkle is fucking crazy. All of these people are fucking Looney Tunes. They're dumb, selfish, narcissistic, loser, main character syndrome, dumbass motherfuckers.
Look what they did to force the vote. Look what they did to the Medicare for All marches, right? And it's always the same people who are glomming on. It's the billionaire funded, like guys like Ryan Grimm from the Intercept, who takes a check from 3 different billionaires and then misleads people about forced to vote and Medicare for All and democratic politics and all that stuff, and probably about this issue too. So that's what you're up against. I knew it was coming. I mean, they did it to Bernie. They had a senator. They didn't have a volunteer. They had a senator accuse Bernie of sexism. That's how desperate the Democratic Party gets when you get to the left of them. So so anything else. So Nick, I advise you to go. This would. In a sense, I would try to make lemonade out of this. And, once people get to know you as a 3-dimensional human being, I think that's very helpful to them. And more is going to come. The next thing they're going to do, Nick, is they'll call you a Russian. Mm-hmm. So that's coming. You're going to be Russian. I'm
just being very honest with you. Jimmy Dore was pro-Putin invading Ukraine. Jimmy Dore has come out in favor of Vladimir Putin. As far as I'm concerned, I am 100% convinced you will never convince me otherwise. Jimmy Dore is a Russian asset. So if Nick Brana, I don't know if he's a Russian asset. I don't think he's on Putin's radar, let's be honest, right? But I'm going to be honest. I think Jimmy Dore is very useful to Putin. So I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. If you are in favor of invading Ukraine, let's be honest. You are, There's a lot wrong with your vision.
Racist, you're going to be something. And
oh yeah, I already get those.
Yeah, and so I got them just for being associated with the People's Party. So again, but there's lots of things that are suspect. And
two of the main, can I tell you, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Two of the main objectives that emerged of this more liberal faction inside the People's Party that had positions of power, and which my accuser.
So again, liberal faction. Why are they liberals? Has anyone asked him why they're liberals? Because they believe in vaccines. That's why they're liberals. You said that earlier. This motherfucker. Anyone that is pro-vaccine is a liberal. Like, they could be anti-capitalist, hardcore communist anarchist. Right? Abolish borders, abolish states, abolish electoral politics. But they also believe in vaccines, so that makes them a liberal. What? Bro, you can't take this shit seriously, man. They're too dumb. This is too dumb. But I get people, and this is why I'm convinced that no one actually listens to these people and that they're all bots. Because I cannot imagine talking to someone who thinks that being in favor of vaccines makes them a liberal. Imagine just being that fucking stupid. That you think, oh, someone going to the doctor? Pfft, typical liberal. What? You took a supplement to help your fucking bone strength? You're a liberal. You washed your hands before you made supper? Ha! Gotcha, liberal. Seriously. Being pro-vaccine makes someone a liberal. I can't even...
used to split the board and influence in this more liberal direction, along with other contractors at the party. Two of their main objectives were, at the same time, we're currently having a national organizing committee process where delegates from across the country, elected delegates, have come together to form the national charter of the People's Party National Committee. So we're deliberating the rules.
Okay, so they banned everyone who disagreed with them, and now they're making the charter. It's a great idea. DJ Elf, feel free to sign me up for whatever you got going on. Also, DJ Elf, can you get Paula Jean Swearingen to unblock me on Twitter? Is that possible? Because now that she's gone from the People's Party, honestly, water under the bridge for the ketchup queen, Paula Jean. She needs to unblock me. We got to start this campaign. I want to get Paula Jean on my show.
The National Committee. There was a provision that was advocated for and made it in and was inserted into the draft of the charter that would have allowed, if it had not been changed, for Democrats, registered Democrats, to control the state committees in 40 states. Every seat in 40 states, registered Democrats, while we're facing, of course, as a new party, massive attempts of infiltration.
Okay, and I swear to God, would these people feel the same way if registered Republicans joined their party? You're not a party yet. How can someone switch their registration to People's Party if they're not a fucking party yet? Again, it's a movement for a People's Party. They haven't actually made it official that they are a national party yet, or in most states. So, no shit, someone's going to be a So you're telling them, oh, so we're not a party yet, and we don't have any elections yet. So, but you got to unregister as a Democrat to join the party? Why? Now, if I'm going to join another party, I'm going to switch my registration. Why would I unregister or change it to affiliated or unaffiliated and then do it again with what? What?
There's a history of infiltration of new parties. Ralph Nader talks about it. And it would have allowed Democrats to hold a super majority on our national committee. And that was outrageous to the majority of the populist delegates who voted it down.
Who cares? It's not a party yet. What does that mean? Oh, they're Democrats. They're infiltrate Democrats. Go liberals.
Resoundingly.
So, you know what? I just remembered. They even did this to Cenk Uygur. So when Cenk Uygur ran for Congress, they were smearing him left and right as a sexist. Do you remember that in the LA Times headline? And Bernie Sanders had to withdraw his endorsement of Cenk Uygur. Do you remember this? This happened to Cenk Uygur.
I do remember that personally. I think Bernie unendorsing Cenk was a bad deal. I think that was kind of shitty. I'm just going to say. I'm just throwing that out there.
Uygur, and then Cenk Uygur turned around and did it to Jordan Sheridan. He accused him of rape, or not, he didn't do it, but he was falsely accused of rape, and he got fired. He lost his job over it. Remember that? Remember when that happened? It was so ironic. or maybe it happened the other way. It happened to Jordan first, and then it happened to Cenk. I can't remember which way. Because I remember saying to them, I go, hey, if you let this garbage happen to Jordan, it can happen to anybody here. Really, anybody here. And they knew it, but apparently Cenk had a special boner for...
I'm just very curious, like, what it means, right? Like, what is it happening here? People fuck up. They do bad things. It happens. Now, I don't know the details with fucking Jordan's bullshit. I've been sent some materials. But I'm not, I'm not all the way read up on that. But if he did something bad, then he did something bad. It happens. Just because you can find a bad example of something like someone getting falsely accused every once in a while, doesn't mean that all of a sudden actual accusations stop happening. So I'm just saying, and what is it? What is it? I don't know what it is. And last time I checked, and again, I could be wrong, but last time I checked, Cenk Uygur got canceled, quote unquote, like it in this instance when it comes to Cenk, was like his stupid ass fucking Republican blog posts from like the late 90s and early 2000s. I did not hear that Cenk Uygur actually assaulted someone or harassed someone in a sexual fashion. He made a bunch of really stupid blog posts when he was a dipshit Republican. It happens. That is not the same thing as sexual assault. That is not the same thing as sexual harassment. So what is it? Why is it? The word it is constantly changing. It all of a sudden means that, then it means this, and what the hell?
For Jordan, and but Jordan was out of a job. That was that. He had sex with a woman, and the woman accused him of rape, and that she was employed by him, right? And so so this happens, goes around. I mean, this is not a new. This is and
you would think that would have made Jordan more objective or more critical when he hears such a story. But Jordan has been the primary one attacking.
Yesterday, that Nick Brana, the chair of MPP, was under investigation. I had that confirmed yesterday. I didn't have enough of MP harassment. I don't know.
Who actually he's brought on a couple people who have really only tangential knowledge of any of this. I'm sure he'll be happy to bring someone on who actually has direct knowledge of it.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. I'm sure I hope that happens. I hope you have a nice interview over there.
Jimmy,
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
So how many members are on the board, and how many members were removed?
Currently, there are 5, and 5 were removed.
So there were 10, and so it sounds
there
like
were 11.
So there were 11. So you got rid of little less than half the board, right?
That's right.
So how does that happen? Who has the power to do that?
Well, what happened is actually referred to. We had a majority, as I said. We had 11 out of.
So you had 6 out of 11.
5. Exactly.
Okay.
And what happened is that we discovered, or certain other members of the board raised to me with serious alarm and to our general counsel when they discovered that there was a plan to, in fact, remove me and remove other members of the board and remove delegates, the delegates who had specifically opposed them in this provision that I described earlier that would have allowed Democrats to overrun and control our state and national committees.
Democrats.
So they wanted to remove them, remove me, remove populist leaders from states across the country in the National Organizing Committee. And the other thing that had really set them off and really upset them and really set their sights on removing me and these other populist leaders across the party and delegates to the National Organizing Committee was our support.
Notice the binary he's creating, the populists and the Democrats. And what divides them? People's Party registration. Again, the People's Party isn't a party yet, so. And whether or not they're in favor of vaccination. Like, this is not, like, we're not talking about, like, oh, we like a for-profit healthcare system, or like, oh yeah, Raytheon, pretty good company, or oh yeah, Joe Biden's doing a great job, and I love Nancy Pelosi, actually. No. It's not like these are like, corporate Democrat neoliberals or whatever. They are in favor of vaccines, and they might have not changed their party registration yet. Because, again, the People's Party isn't a party yet.
Of a membership vote on whether the party should come out against COVID vaccine mandates. So they were very opposed to that. I proposed to bringing it to the membership, saying this is the People's Party. It is outrageous, the idea that we wouldn't allow our members to decide an issue that is the issue that is essentially the number 1 populist issue in the world right now. There's the largest populist movement in the world right now is on this issue. Right now, there's essentially a revolution happening in Canada around this issue, and many other countries revolving around it. You talked earlier with Max Blumenthal about what it's being used to usher in the social credit system. So we wanted to put that to the membership, and they were highly opposed to that. And it was another reason that they tried to remove.
There's a revolution in Canada going on right now, folks. These people live in a fantasy world. These people live in a fucking fantasy. There's a revolution in Canada because American billionaires gave a lot of money to some neo-Nazi organizers to like pretend to be truckers for a couple weeks. That means there's a revolution in Canada.
So that's why I'm happy to share tonight and announce tonight that in fact the People's Party will be going ahead with that membership vote, and members will be heard, and they will have the chance to express themselves. And this party is going to be doing what the membership decides in terms of taking the position against or for or staying out of it for COVID vaccine mandates. And I have a strong suspicion that our members are going to be against these mandates and everything they're ushering in.
Okay. So again, I state this: your party is in its infancy. The deck is stacked way against you getting anything done.
Party is in its infancy. It's 6 fucking years old. A little baby. Oh, how old are they? 6.
Have you had any successes against all these odds? Can you name any?
Yeah, last year we got on the ballot in Florida. This year we got on the ballot in Virginia. We also, you can register as an official People's Party member in many different states. In California, I believe you're registered as a member of the People's Party.
You can register as in the People's Party here in California.
Right.
So that would, people don't know how hard that is to get on the ballot. I mean, that's the big part. That's what the two-party system does. They block you from getting on the ballot, and then if you actually do manage to get on a ballot, they're going to take you to court, and then they want to keep you tied up in court. And so when Ralph Nader ran, he was spending all of his money instead of campaigning, he was spending it on lawyers fighting for ballot access, and so that's how they get you. And so people make a big deal. Is your father the treasurer of the People's Party?
He is. Yes.
And people say that's a problem. What do you say to that?
I say, haven't we had enough problems with infiltration and disruption that we want somebody who we can trust in that position? And also, to anybody who has a problem with that, we are legally required to report all donations and expenditures over $200 to the IRS. And so feel free to go look it up. We even put it on our website. You can find it anywhere. So anyone who has a problem with that, go dig through the financial records yourself.
Okay. And those are available, right? Where can people find those financial records?
Available to all. They can go to the IRS, or they can go to our transparency page.
We're going to go to the fucking IRS, folks. We're going to investigate the goddamn People's Party.
Go to peoplesparty.org. Under the About tab, you'll find transparency, and there you'll find a link to the IRS. So have at it.
Okay. All right, Nick. Well, good luck with this unbelievably big task you've put on your shoulders of trying to build a third party in a country that most of the people have. First of all, half the people want one. Over half the people want a third party that's viable. But for some reason, the other half of the people who vote all the time think it can't be possible. They go, well, you can't vote for a third party until there's a lot of people already voting for a third party. Well, you have to start somewhere. Right? You can't wait for someone else to get. So you got to do it. So I've been telling people that it's time that if you're Republican or if you usually vote Democrat or Republican, it's time to withhold your vote from those parties. It's time to do it.
So anyway, that's their spiel. It's boring. We've all heard it. So okay, the response to the sexual harassment allegations, he didn't talk about the specifics at all. Like, this isn't, he didn't like go into, oh, well, she claimed I did this. I have an alibi. I actually, that was the night that, my dad and I went to Arby's. And then I recorded a video for TikTok in, the car, and you can see the radio clock was saying that I was. So he didn't actually talk about the allegations at all. He just called everyone else a liberal and a Democrat, and then just talked about liberal Democrats. Canada's having a revolution, bro. It's going to be epic. Anyway, folks, that's boring. I wasted too much time on this, but I love this shit. I live for it. I'm so entertained. I'm so endlessly entertained looking at these goofballs. And so I will see y'all later. Thank you all for watching. And, hopefully everything going on with Ukraine is, I don't know, but in Texas, I mean, there's so much going on. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh! I forgot to lower the gain filter. My apologies.
There was no response. They didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad. Very sad.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
There was no response.